Hey y'all, welcome to In the Kitchen with Tally Faye. We're cooking today, y'all. We done made our cracker corn, our skillet rice, and now I'm going to show you how to make this little, I call it a cheating recipe, but it's an easy way to make one of these pumpkin cakes for the holidays. And so I tested it first because I wanted to make sure that, you know, I liked how it turned out, right? Let me get my, because most of the time, I'm not big on some of those cheating recipes. They don't turn out as homemade tasting as I want them to. But this turned out pretty dead burn good, y'all. And it's what my favorite thing that I was telling people is it's a great cake or whatever for you to take to one of these functions that you have to go to. But it's a pumpkin cake. And it's got the spices in it and stuff, you know. I use allspice in this. If you don't want to use allspice, just use cinnamon, okay, in place of that. But it's very easy, and I'm going to show you how to do this thing. Let me turn it around here just a little bit. Okay, all right. What I've got in here is I've got one egg beaten already. I whooped him up, okay? So I'm going to put my egg in there. And then I have a can of pumpkin, y'all. Just a can of pumpkin, okay? And it calls for puree, pumpkin puree. I couldn't find it. I used the 100% pure pumpkin. That's what it says, okay? I used that and it worked just fine. Now this makes a thick batter. So don't be scared when you see it and you're thinking something's done gone wrong, right? It's kind of a thick batter. I don't mean big time, but anyway, don't be scared of it. You just put one of these 15-ounce cans of pumpkin or pumpkin puree, whatever you want to, in there. One egg, one can of pumpkin, and one box of a yellow cake mix. That's what we're doing. Tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to go ahead and stir my pumpkin and my egg up for a second. Okay, I just wanted to stir that up good. Now all I got to do is dump this cake mix in there. Y'all, they're doing these cake mixes like they do a lot of that other stuff. You have to, they make smaller boxes of it now. So, you know, that'll mess a recipe up if you're counting on that, right? But anyway, this little smaller box seemed to work, right? So, that's what I'm using today. You do nothing but stir this up. And we're going to put it in. Oh, this is kind of important, I think. I have greased and floured my pan, but this is one of those 7x11 oblong Pyrex bowls, okay? And I looked on there and it's like 2.5 quarts is the size. If you don't see the measurements on it, it says it's a 2.5 quart one, but it's the oblong one, okay? And that way it'll bake this cake up. Yeah, it don't make a big old huge cake either. So, that's kind of good. Alright, let me get it stirred up in here. You ain't doing nothing but trying to get it mixed together. It ain't about beating it all up and doing all that and everything. So right now, I'm going to go ahead. I mean, it's stirred up pretty good together, and I'm going to go ahead and add me a teaspoon of pure ground allspice, okay? That's what I'm putting in here, 1 teaspoon. And that makes it very pumpkin spicy tasting, right? Otherwise, if you don't want that, like I say, put you a teaspoon of cinnamon in it. But I think there's just something about these flavors and that spice that make it that goes along with the pumpkin, right? I don't know, maybe that's just Tally Faye thinking. But that is all we've got to do to this thing. I have my oven preheated at 350. And it says to bake it like for 28 minutes in that little old glass dish. I'm gonna stir it up just to make sure I got it. You know how sometimes it won't get it out of the bottom in there? But I'm gonna show y'all. See, it's pretty thick. See what I'm saying? It's a thick batter. So you have to work it around in there just a little bit. Make sure you got everything together. I can see all those spices in there. It looks pretty. But all I'm going to do now is put it in this. I'm hung up on my cabinet. Is put it in this little old Pyrex dish. Get it in there and we'll just spread it out. And like I said, 350, okay? And it says like 28 minutes. Well, I'm gonna tell you, the first time when I baked that one the other day, it was 28 minutes in my oven, right on the dot. But you just have to check it, you know, start checking it. I'd start checking it, you know, at 20, 25 minutes just to see where it was at. Excuse me. Because you don't want it to get dried out, right? So just spread it out in here. It's thick, almost like a brownie dough. But it doesn't bake up like that, y'all. It don't bake up. It's not as heavy as a brownie dough. But it was very moist, and y'all know I love that. That's important to me for any of our cake stuff to come out moist. If it's dry, I don't like it. And don't think I hadn't done that before, y'all. So on these recipes like that, you have to watch your own oven. Because sometimes, you know, I mean, they're just, it depends on where you live and the altitudes and the oven itself and, you know, just many different aspects of it. But there we are. Get this off my hands. We're going to get it in the oven. That's it, y'all. There it is, look. Okay? This is a Cheater's pumpkin spice cake. And we'll get this in the oven, get it baked, and when we take it out, we're going to take it out and have our icing. Well, I tell you what, when we take it out, the minute we take it out, then we'll stir our icing up and we'll put it on there then. Because you want to put it on there when it's very warm. Very warm. Not piping hot, but very warm, okay? So by the time we take it out, set it on the oven, the range top, and stir our icing up with the mixer, we'll be ready to put it on there because we're going to poke some holes in it too. I'll be back in just a little bit. We'll go in the oven. 28 minutes is the time given. We'll watch it and see. Alrighty. It's been exactly 28 minutes, y'all, just like it was the last time for me. Again, I say that's my oven, right? I'm going to show you what it looks like. I just took it out of there. But see, it's like that. It's kind of like that. And I poked it with the toothpicks, right? And just checking it for sure. And I mean, there might be a tiny bit of batter looking stuff on. I mean, I can't even, you wouldn't even be able to see it if I showed it to you. I tried to show you the toothpick. So really, that's where I want it at, because it's going to keep cooking in that pan while we're doing this icing. So we're going to get on with this icing because I want it to, I want the cake to cool, but not completely, right? We want it warmer than normal even, because I'm going to poke big holes in it with this, with the wooden spoon handle. I'm going to poke this size hole in it. See? That's what I want to poke in it. So I'm going to let it sit there, and we're going to work on this icing. I'll show you how easy this is. Okay, I got us where I need us. Alright, it starts off, y'all, with a half a block. I've got half a block of cream cheese here, okay? And now I have I'm going to go ahead and put my 3 tablespoons of butter in there. Go ahead and do that. And I'm going to start creaming that up a little bit. But I have 1/4 cup of evaporated milk, but I don't want to go overboard with it, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to put me 1, 2. Alright, we're going to go with 3 tablespoons right now of the evaporated milk in it. Because, you know, if you get too much, it will, you have to keep putting lots of powdered sugar in there, and I don't want it all powdered, sugary, and major sweet. I want to be able to taste the cream cheese. So, let me beat this up and get it creamy. We're going to do that, get that creamy, and put us in there another teaspoon of the pure ground allspice. If you don't want the allspice, remember, just do the cinnamon. I guess you don't have to put none of that in there if you don't want to, but, you know, I think when people are thinking about these pumpkin cakes, that spice automatically goes off in your mind of that, you know, you're expecting that flavor of what's in this allspice thing going on over cinnamon. But, you know, that's your cake. You can make the thing how you want to, right? You can make it however you want to with your seasonings. That's your choice. All right, it's creamy. I'm going to go ahead and put my teaspoon of allspice in there. And now I'm going to get me a cup of powdered sugar. We'll start with 1 cup. We want this icing a little bit runny because we're almost going to pour it on there, right? So I got me a cup going on here. Okay. Get me a spatula. I thought I had one. Well, I'll use this one. I wanted my favorite one. Alright, I'm going to stop this a second. Get this out of my way. Let me stir it, y'all. Okay. I don't think y'all can see from there. I'll show it to you in just a second more up close. But, put this back on here. I'm going to add me 1 more tablespoon of the evaporated milk. Y'all, that is almost 1/4 cup. It's just shy of 1/4 cup what I'm putting in here, okay? But if you want, you know, want to be more exact on it, so far we've put 4 tablespoons of the evaporated milk in there. Oh yeah, that looks more thin like I want it. I think that's going to do it, y'all. Let me get this out of here and I'll show it to you. Okay. I want you to look in here. Let me turn this over this way a little better. There we go. See, it's pretty thin. Well, I'm saying that to you, but it ain't even falling off of there. But it is thin, y'all. There we go. Now you can see what I'm talking about. See, it comes on off of there pretty good, but it's not runny, but it's thin, okay? That, you know, how else do I say that, right? Okay, we've got that stirred up. We're going to add, I have a cup of chopped nuts here, y'all. And you want to stir them into it because we want them to get coated all over with it. And that you don't mix them with the mixer. You just stir this in. And so now all your nuts are coated in there and everything. And it's a pretty color. It's got all the little pieces. You can see all the pieces of the allspice in there. See, there's just a little bit. Well, you can't see that and everything. Evaporated milk. Mama used to get so mad at me for she'd leave the can on the refrigerator door for a coffee creamer. And you know how you poke a hole on one side and poke a hole on the other? When she wasn't looking, I'd sneak in there and get it off the door and just drink it out of the can. And then somebody'd come over for coffee and she'd have very little evaporated milk for her creamer. I'd get in trouble. But anyway, fun memories there, y'all. Alright, I'm fixing two. Since that pan is hot, I'm going to put this under here. We put it down here. I'm going to go ahead and get this cake over here. Now, see how close I can get y'all. See if we can do this a little bit better view. Somewhat, huh? Okay. Alright, I'm just going to take this wooden handle and I'm going to do it like, say, 1, 2, 3. Because I think that'll make 3 slices there, right? And then we'll go down through here. 1, 2, and 1 more. Okay, we're going to go 3 by 4. Yeah, 4 down and 3, well, 4 across, 3 down, however you want to say it. Do 4 and 3 on it. And that'll give you that many slices of cake. But I'm just going to punch these holes. Oh, it's real moist, y'all. I can tell just poking it. So that 28 minutes really worked on it good. Okay? So now, while it's hot and with them big old holes in it, I'm going to take part of this, not all of it. I'm going to just take part of it right now and gently spread this across it while it's good and hot. I want them nuts and that frosting to get down in them holes, right? That's what I'm shooting for there. Just take your time, do it easy. Put it over that hole and it'll go right down in it. Perfect. Oh yeah. Okay. Let it get hot a little more and it'll spread a little bit easier for me. I just want to make sure that it gets good and melted down in there, kind of like. But I don't want my icing to go completely away, you know. Let me taste of it. Y'all, it's a delicious icing. It is good icing. I tell you what, if you're wanting, you know, this fall recipe thing going on, this little old recipe right here is worthy, y'all. I mean, for the cake, all you gotta have is a can of pumpkin and a yellow cake mix and an egg. And your allspice or cinnamon. Whatever you prefer. Like I say, I just think that the allspice makes it be what it's supposed to be. You know. I've never been a big fan, actually, of like pumpkin pie and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of it, believe it or not. I mean, I can eat it, but I'm just never been that much of a fan. But now this cake, excuse me, this cake, I like it because I get the pumpkin thing going on, but the icing helps me like it better. like the pumpkin thing going on better. And then the spices, I mean, I don't have any problem with the allspice flavor. I don't know why I'm not, you know, the pumpkin thing, like a pie or whatever. And I mean, we make them every year. They get eaten up. People love them. So, you know, you can't make everything just for you, right? Mama was bad about that. If she didn't like it, we didn't get to eat it. We never got to eat it. Like blueberries was an example when I was a kid. I never got to eat blueberries till I was an adult. I didn't even know it, and I found out I love them. But Mama, if she didn't like it, she didn't cook it. Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at this little booger. This makes the perfect size cake. I swanny. That's some good stuff, y'all. Okay, it's still hot enough I can't hold the glass, but I'm going to show you up close. Look at it. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And it's got some icing on it, y'all. I really don't want to cut it right now. It's just too hot. I don't want to cut it. But I already know it's good. Y'all need to try this recipe. Write this one down in your books. And like I say, if you are wanting to take something that's easy for you to make and still very delicious and home tasting like, this is a good recipe to take. A good dessert for you to take to a function. Cheating pumpkin cake. That's what I call it. It's the cheater's pumpkin cake. Whatever, right? It's a box. Get you a pen and pencil. I'll wait. Alright. It's a box of yellow cake mix. 15-ounce can of pumpkin. Pure pumpkin. And 1 egg beaten. And 1 teaspoon of allspice. Or cinnamon. You mix all that together. You beat your pumpkin and your egg together. And then dump your cake mix. Oh, and dump your allspice in there and then your cake mix, okay? Beat that all up together. Stir it around good. Just to make sure it's mixed well. And put it in a 7 by 11 Pyrex dish. Baking dish. Which is a 2-quart one. Okay? 2.5 quarts. Bake it. 350 preheated oven for about 28 minutes. But like I say, start checking it around 25 minutes with your toothpick, okay? And you want to pull it out of there while it's still good and moist. Don't let it cook dry, because that messes it up, okay? You get it out of there. As soon as you take it out, you start to work on your icing. 1/2 block of cream cheese. 4 tablespoons. We know that now. 4 tablespoons of evaporated milk. 3 tablespoons of butter. Doesn't matter whether it's salted or not. Teaspoon of allspice or cinnamon. And about a cup of powdered sugar. Get that all stirred up together. You cream your cream cheese and butter, right? Do that together. And your evaporated milk. And then you add your allspice to that. And then you add your powdered sugar. When you're through beating that together, take the bowl off of the mixer and get you a spatula or something and stir in with a spatula. Stir in your cup of chopped pecans, walnuts, whatever, your chopped nuts. Stir them in so that they're coated real good. Go back over there and take something like I did with this, like this, you know, it makes the perfect size holes in it for each slice. And poke your holes in your cake and dump about half of that icing on that hot cake and let it run down in them holes and stuff and everything, you know, spread it real gently and then put the rest on top of it. Then you have a cheating pumpkin cake. So y'all try this. It's worthy of trying. And I already know it's delicious, it's moist, it's spicy, and it's a pumpkin spiciny, and it's all good and everything, y'all. And it's pretty inexpensive. So, give it a try. Y'all add these to your holiday dishes, and I'll be back with you soon to figure out some more things we can cook on the side for our holidays coming up. Love you guys. In the kitchen with Tally Faye.